let's begin to relax. Okay, settle the whole body. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. Rest your hands either clasped in your lap or on your knees or open palm, whatever's comfortable for you. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. So on your first in-breath, sit up a little bit taller, lengthen your spine, then long, slow exhale through your lips. Okay, next one, let's breathe into the nose. Let your chest expand. And then next exhale, settling down into your foundation, to your mat. All right, last deep breath together. Let's breathe into the nose. Then settle down. Feel the air hit your lips. And then let's relax our whole body, head to toe. So starting at the top, okay, crown of your head, down to your forehead. Wrinkle out any iron out any wrinkles you might have. Relax your eyelids. Relax your cheeks and your jaw. Okay. Relax your neck. And down to your shoulders and your arms. Notice how your arms and your hands feel, whether they're tired from the weekend or just resting against your knees. And then let's work our way back to the chest. Notice how it expands and contracts as we sit here and continue to breathe. Then down to our belly, same thing, just expanding and contracting. Then down to our hips, to our quads and hamstrings. Maybe you're sitting cross-legged, to your knees and to your shins. Notice how your shins touch your feet, and in turn where your feet touch your mat. Okay, just noticing your whole body now as a unit. And for the next 60 seconds or so, just continue to sit here, breathing gently. Let's take one last deep breath together. Breathing into the nose, holding it at the top. And let's exhale, open up our eyes. All right, I'm gonna hop off my blocks. Let's start with our sides. So let's look up and reach our arms up to the ceiling. Oof. And let's start by planting the right palm on the mat and reaching our left arm over our body towards the upper right-hand corner of the room. Okay, feel the stretch start from your hip to your left fingertips. If you can come down to your forearm, great. If not, all good. And then let's lift our right palm back up to the ceiling. Come down on the left, reaching with the right fingertips through to the upper left-hand corner of the room. Okay, turning the chin and looking up. And then we'll bring that left hand back up to the ceiling. And then down, back to heart center. And then we're going to twist to the right. So let's keep our spine straight, pressing the left hand into the right knee, right fingertips or right palm or press into the ground. We're twisting our spines. And every time you breathe out, see if you can twist a little bit further. And let's come back to center. Get the other side, twisting to the left. So pressing the right hand into the left knee. Yeah, give yourself one last little push to the left. And then we'll unwind, come back to center. And then we'll get the inner thigh. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together for cobbler pose. Oh. Bring the heels in, letting the knees drop down. And then just lean forward. You can grab your feet or your toes. Okay, active position here. So constantly lean forward, relaxing the lower half of your body. All right, deep breath in. And then exhale, rounding at your back, rolling with the fingertips or sliding with the fingertips. Ooh. Ooh. And then we'll sit back up. That's enough of that. Let's do some knee drops for the hips. So plant the feet in front. Okay. Dropping to the right. So you can get both knees down to the mat. Saying hello to everything in our legs. Then we'll rotate over to the left. Taking our time. Right. Probably do 3 times each side. Yeah, you can choose your own pace, but I'll call it out regardless. Left. All right, last full cycle. Back over to the right. Oh. And then to the left, round it all out. All right. Oh, let's stand up, our knees to center, and then stand up. Groaning as we go. All right. My favorite, nice wide stance, toes facing forward, legs are straight. Bring the arms up. And then as you breathe out, swan dive down to the ground. Let's start by planting our fingertips or our palms on the mat and pushing our torso towards the back of the room. You're going to open up the hamstrings. Ooh. And then let's clasp our hands behind our lower backs and then reach our hands either towards the front of the room or towards the ceiling. Feeling the shoulders. And every time you breathe out, see if you can sink a little bit further down with the torso. And let's release the hands. Let's start by planting the right palm on the floor right in front of our face and rotating the left arm up to the ceiling. Okay, turning the chin up towards the ceiling as well. Whew. And then bring the left arm back down. Okay, switch palms, rotating the right arm up to the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, let's bring that right arm back down. Ooh. Then letting the arms and head dangle. Let's do our slow 10 count coming up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Legs are strong. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. 9 and 10. I'm gonna bring the legs together. Let's do a standing side stretch. So feet and legs together. Stand up nice and tall. Arms come back up to the top. Let's start on the left. So dropping the left hand down to your left side of your body, kicking up the right hip. Very similar to the sitting version. Okay, except we're adding a little balance. No bend at the elbow. Nice active stretch. Constantly reaching with the right fingertips. Ooh. And then let's bring the left hand back up to the top, dropping the right arm down, kicking out the left hip. Ooh. And let's bring that right arm back up to the top. Do a little mini reach with both hands. And then we'll bring the hands back to heart center. We're gonna keep our hands there. Let's rotate to the lower half of our body. Samalasana. Okay, find a comfortable medium stance. And then lower yourself down to your mat. Ooh. Ooh. And if you want, bring the elbows and press the knees towards the back of the room, accentuating that inner thigh stretch. Okay, we'll come out in 3, 2, 1, supporting yourself with the hands and the legs. Ooh. Okay. All right. Let's get our necks. So let's do chicken wing on the left, grabbing our right wrist, dropping the head down to the chicken wing side. Okay, try to touch your left ear to your left shoulder. And let's roll the head forward and look down at the ground. And let's gently roll the head back. Okay, back to center. And then back up tops. And let's switch the chicken wing over to the right. Dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. Uh, and then just roll the head back. Ooh. And then rolling the head forward, looking down. Ooh. All right. And then return the head back up top. Let's release the chicken wing. Let's do our shoulders and our triceps. So let's do left arm across the top. Okay, pulling on the left arm. Hopefully you feel the stretch go all the way across that left shoulder. Feeling yesterday's swim. And then let's switch arms. So right arm across the top of the chest. Pull the right shoulder. Okay, gently releasing that. Left arm behind the head, pulling on the left elbow. And maybe move your head out of the way, making room for the left arm. All right, let's switch arms. So right arm behind the head. Ooh. All right, let's release that. Let's do one we haven't done in a while. I can spread my feet gently. So we're gonna do one for our chest. So arms start up top. And then pretend like you're trying to scrape the back of the room with your elbows and your fingertips, controlling it all the way down. Definitely feel that in my shoulder blades. Let's do 3 times. Okay, arms up top, and scraping the back of the room with those fingertips. Ugh. Right, one last time here. Exhaling as the arms come down. And then doing one more for our chest. So palms facing up, and then pretending you're bringing the thumbs towards the back of the room. I don't know why I'm in a power stance, but it feels great. Miriam, do you need to get something?
No.
Okay. Ooh. All right, that's enough for my shoulders. Let's come to the front of our mats. Okay, feet and legs together, arms reaching up, and let's do our 2 warm-up swan dives. So swan dive down, reaching for the toes, up to flat back. Let's exhale, rounding at the back, eyes up, reverse swan dive. Hands at the top. Let's swan dive down. Okay. Up to flat back. Let's round out the back, eyes up, reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. And let's start swan dive down for a 3rd time. Up to flat back. And then as you exhale here, bring the palms down to the mat, step back to plank. And let's chaturanga down. Do our first upward dog of the day. Push the floor away. Feel that lower back, feel the core. Back to plank. Add a push up here if you'd like. And into downward dog. Okay. Woo. Heel reaching for the mat. Fingertips are spread. Push the floor away. And we're gonna bicycle the legs to focus on the calf. So bending the right knee, driving the left heel down to the mat. And switch sides. So now we're feeling the right calf stretch out. And switch. And back to the right. Ooh. All right. And to the left. I think that's the last one. I didn't really count, but that's okay. All right, let's do a sun salutation. So back to a neutral downward dog. Both legs are straight. And then we'll walk the feet towards the hands, and then reverse swan dive, looking up to the ceiling, bring the arms up, and then swan dive back down, up to flat back. Let's exhale down, planting both palms, stepping back to plank. Let's chaturanga down into our upward dog. Back to plank, push up here if you like, and into downward dog. Okay, let's add a runner's pose stretch. We haven't done that one in a while. So bring the feet and legs together. Float the left heel up in the air, and then swing the left leg through and plant it in front. And then we're going to stay in runner's pose. Fingertips should be barely touching your mat. That left leg is supporting. Right heel is still up and off the mat. And then we're going to bring our palms to the right side of our left foot for runner's stretch. Okay, see if you can lower your pelvis down to the ground. I definitely feel that in my left hamstring. And then we'll add one for our hips next. So come back to runner's pose. Hands are on either sides of the foot, lowering the right knee down to the mat. And then bring the arms and torso up. Okay, rotating the hip forward. You should feel that in your right hip. Very similar to crescent pose, but the back leg is down, a little less balance, but just as much stretch. All right, let's get the other side. So bring the arms and torso back down. Okay, get the right knee back off the mat. Okay, left leg comes back to plank, and we're going to chaturanga down into an upward dog. Let's do a sun salutation and then get the other side. So back to plank, step the feet towards the hands, and reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. Swan dive down. Up to flat back. Let's exhale, plant both palms. Feet come back to plank. Let's chaturanga down or upward dog. Back to plank, adding a push up here on our way to down dog. And let's get the right side. So feet and legs together. Float the right leg up into the air and then swing it on through and come to a runner's pose. Okay. Fingertips barely touching the mat. Once again, right leg is supporting our body. And let's come into runner's stretch. Palms are on the left side of the right foot. I'm trying to lower all this down to the ground. Low right hamstring. All right. And then come back to runner's pose. And then drop the left knee down, untucking the left foot. Arms and torso come up. Okay. Rotate that hip forward. Feel the left hip stretch out. And you can even lean slightly backwards if you want to add a little something, something. Ooh, settle with the breath. Deepen the stretch if you can. Then bring the arms back down. Okay, left knee comes off the mat. We're back in runner's pose. Plant both palms. Right leg comes back to plank, and let's chaturanga down to upward dog. Sun salutation back to plank. Step the feet towards the hands. Then reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. Swan dive down. Up to flat back. Let's exhale, bring the palms back to plank and step back. And come chaturanga down to an upward dog. Back to plank, push up here if you like. And into our downward dog once again. Whew. All right, let's do a crescent pose. We're back on the left, so feet together. Float that left leg up into the air and swing it all through and plant it in front. Then bring the arms up for crescent pose. Okay, that right leg should be straight and strong. Right heel reaching for the mat, arms reaching for the ceiling. And let's transition into prayer twist. Bring the hands together. Then right elbow gently resting on that left knee. We're breathing. Whew. All right, let's come back to crescent pose. Arms reaching up. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Left leg goes back to plank. Let's chaturanga down into our upward dog. We're going to skip the sun salutation. We're straight to the other side. Back to plank. And then come back to downward dog. Feet and legs together. Float the right leg up into the air. And swing that right leg through it, plant it in front. Come into crescent pose on the right. Whew. Okay, settle with your breath. And then bring the hands together at heart center. And let's do prayer twist on the right. Hands are stacked. Right elbow is facing the ceiling. Enjoying the sunshine now that it's here. And then we'll return to crescent pose. Arms reach up. And then bring the arms down to the mat. Plant both palms. Right leg comes back to plank. Let's chaturanga down to our upward dog. Okay, back to plank. Step the feet towards the hands. Reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. And swan dive down. Up to flat back. And then exhale, bring the palms back down to the mat, stepping back to plank, and let's chaturanga down to an upward dog. Ooh. Back to plank, push up here if you're still with me. And into downward dog. Now we're going to do our warrior sequence. So feet and legs together. Floating the left leg up into the air. And then swinging it out through and planting it in front. And as the arms come up, that right heel comes down for warrior one. Okay, front knee tracking over the front ankle. Let's go to warrior two, arms front and back. Whew. Let's dip back into reverse warrior. Reach towards the back of the room with those left fingertips. Being careful not to put too much weight in that back leg. Let's pop back up into warrior two. And let's do our triangle pose. So reach forward as far as you can with those left fingertips. Then drop the left hand down to the ground. Right arm reaches up to the ceiling. Now let's do extended triangle pose. So take that right hand and reach overhead towards the front of the room. Okay, then back up top. And then drop the right hand behind your lower back. Left arm reaches underneath the left leg. And we're grabbing fingertips. Okay, that left leg is on fire. Stay with me. We'll exit in 3, 2, 1. Release the hands. Left hand back on the ground. Right arm reaches up. And then we'll pop back up into warrior two. Lean back for reverse warrior. And then back to warrior two. And then swing that right arm forward and up for warrior one. And then the arms come down, that back heel comes up, planting both palms. Left leg goes back to plank. Let's chaturanga down into our upward dog. Back to plank, step the feet towards the hands for sun salutation. Reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. And then swan dive down. Coming up to flat back, hands are on the knees. And let's exhale, bring the palms back down to the mat. And step it back to plank, and let's chaturanga down into our upward dog. Ooh. Back to plank, add a push-up here, and into downward dog. And we're back on the right, so feet and legs together. Float that left leg up into the air. Let's swing it on through, plant it in front, and come into warrior one on the right. Okay, squaring up the shoulders, reaching for the ceiling. Okay, turning into warrior two. Palms and arms are parallel to the ground. And then let's dip back into our reverse warrior. And back to warrior two. And then reach forward as we enter triangle pose. Right palms on the ground. Left fingertips are reaching up. Turning the chin and looking up. And then let's do extended triangle pose. Left arm reaches overhead towards the front of the room. This one always feels a little funky, but something different. Arm back up top. And then behind the lower back. Right arm reaches underneath that right leg. Okay, see if you can rotate the left shoulder and open up your chest as you look up. Settle with your breath. We'll exit in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right arm's back on the right hand's back on the mat. And let's return to warrior two. Woo! All right, dipping back into reverse warrior. And back to warrior two. And back to warrior one. All right, and let's bring that back heel up. Arms come down. Plant both palms. Let's chaturanga down. To our upward dog. Back to plank. Step the feet towards the hands. And reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. And then from here, keeping the hands and torso where they are, let's bend at our knees and our waist for chair pose. And keep a straight line from your hip or hips all the way through to your fingertips. And then let's straighten our bodies up and get off those heels. Reaching with the fingertips towards the ceiling. And hopefully you're not too shaky with the calves. And then 3, 2, 1. Heels down to the mat, hands to heart center. And let's do a twisting chair pose to the left. Okay, right elbow, press into the left knee. Okay, so you can bend at the knees a little bit more and lower your glutes a little bit lower to the ground. All right, and then back to center. Straighten up, reach for the ceiling, back on the fronts of your feet. Feel your calves. Feel those stabilizer muscles. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you breathe out through the mouth, lower the heels down, hands back to center. Let's round it out for a twisting chair pose to the right. Same thing as the other side. Bend at the knees a little bit more. See how low you can go while maintaining your balance. All right, and then back to center. And then last time up, reaching for the ceiling, off the heels. Then breathe into the nose, hold at the top for a moment. And then breathe out through the mouth, lower the heels down, hands come back to center. We'll take a quick break just so I can use the bathroom, open the window. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna start with tree. All right, let's do 98% of our weight on our left leg. Let's get the right foot into position. Ooh, okay. Let's see how the balance is on the left leg, or really how tired it is from the weekend. Ooh. All right, let's do it for another 3, 2, 1. Releasing that. All right, let's get our other leg. Ugh. See if we're balanced this week. Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. Just like the other side, we'll come down in 3, 2, 1. Oh, shake out that right ankle. Let's have a seat. I don't want to do any more balancing ones. Ugh. 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 Okay. I always like to start with table. So feet are planted in front, shoulder distance apart, hands are planted behind us. Let's prop ourselves up. Okay, dropping the head back. Active stretch, so constantly push your hips up towards the ceiling. Oh. Remember not to hold your breath. And then let's gently lower ourselves back down to the mat. And then getting ready for bridge. So spines are against the mat. Let's roll on to our shoulders, clasping our hands underneath us. And then push your hips once again towards the ceiling. And every time you breathe out, push a little bit further. All right. And then one vertebra at a time, lower yourself back down. Ugh. All right, let's do our glutes. So keeping the right foot planted. Make a figure four with your left leg. Let's grab that right shin, beginning to engage the left glute. And let's breathe into the nose. Then long breath out. Okay. Breathing into that left glute. Stretch and get deeper. Relaxing the lower half of your body. Number two, let's breathe in. And then long, slow exhale. Last deep breath on this side, breathing into the nose. And out through the mouth. Let's let go of the right leg, planting the left foot, and switching sides, getting the right ankle into position, grabbing the left shin. Okay. That right glute is beginning to feel the stretch. And repeat those three breaths. So breathe into the nose and out through the mouth. Ooh. Number two, breathing in. And then long, controlled exhale. All right, last time here, breathe into the nose and out to the mouth. And then let's release the left shin. We're going to stay your backs for happy baby. So legs are up in the air. We're going to grab the outside parts of our feet, pulling our knees in towards our underarms. And then rocking side to side ever so gently. Massaging your spine against your mat while you're actively pulling on the feet. Okay. Spine massage plus inner thigh stretch, 2-in-1 combo. We love efficiency. All right, let's release the legs back down to the mat. And let's do the supine twist. So starting with the right leg, pulling in the right knee towards our chest. Doing a little stretch there. And then let's pull our right knee over to the left side of our body, extending out our right arm to the right. Okay, really feel your spine twist. Left hip is on the ground. Really, your whole left side is on the ground. Okay, continuing to settle with your breath, twisting a little bit further with each exhale. Okay, my right knuckles have touched the ground. That's good, a good sign. All right, let's return the right leg back to the mat. Let's hug in the left knee towards our chest. Okay, really enjoying that stretch, pulling the left knee in. And then rotating the left knee over to the right side of our body. Left arm extends out to the left. Okay. Remember those long, slow exhales. All right. Let's return that left leg back to center or back to the mat. Ugh. Let's just lie down. We'll spread our arms for a second. All right. Let's sit up and do a nice calf stretch or a left hamstring stretch. So I'm going to grab my block. Okay, sitting up straight. Let's start with the left leg. So bring the right heel in towards your soft tissue. Back of the left knee is on the mat. Remember to flex the left foot so the toes are facing the ceiling. And then arms up top to start. And then exhale over that straight left leg. And I'm going to grab the outside part of my left foot with both hands, adding in the right side stretch as well. Give yourself one last reach or one last pull. And then sitting back up, swapping the legs, okay, taking our time getting there. Ugh. So right leg is planted on the mat, left heel in towards the soft tissue. Right foot is flexed, arms are up top. And we're exhaling and reaching and saying hello to Max. Hello, Max. Okay. Enjoying the stretch. And goodbye, Max. All right. Oof. Okay, remember active reach. See if you can pull yourself a little bit closer towards that right foot. Hopefully you really feel the right hamstring. And then release just the right side, leaving the right leg where it is, adding in the left so that your quads, knees, shins, ankles, and toes touching. Feet are flexed together. Arms are up top to start. And we're exhaling, reaching for our toes. Whew. All right, and if your toes feel pretty easy, see if you can reach on the sides of your feet toward your ankles, accentuating the stretch. And we'll release that stretch. Oh, all right. Let's return to a push-up position. Let's do our not close pose. We're not there yet. What's it called? Can't remember the name, but that's okay. Right leg comes forward, pigeon pose. Untuck the left foot. You can come down to your forearms. Great. See if you can bring your forehead down to the mat. As always, with each exhale, we're relaxing our whole body, letting the stretch take over. And we'll go for another 10 or 15 seconds and we'll add the quad stretch. Let's plant our palms on the mat in front of us and push our torsos up. Oh, and then reach back behind us with the left hand or left arm, pulling in the left heel, really feeling the left quad. Okay, we're gonna hold this one for another 10 seconds or so. So active pull. The low left quad. All right, let's release the left foot down. Return to a push-up position. Let's do a sun salutation just for fun. So step our feet towards our hands. And reverse swan dive to the hands are at the top. Swan dive down. Up to flat back. Exhaling, planting both palms, returning to a plank position. And then the left leg comes forward. Okay, untucking the right foot. Okay, just rocking back and forth as needed to find the position that works for you. All right, let's add that quad stretch. So plant both palms in front, push your torso up, reaching back with the right hand. We're feeling that right quad begin to open up. Ooh. Then we'll let go of that right foot. And then we'll start by sitting on our heels. Okay. Knees are about as wide as our mat. Let's take a deep breath into the nose. And come forward into our child's pose. Forearms on the mat, forehead on the mat. Easy with the breath. All right, let's add a bonus side stretch. So take that right hand out to the right and stack our left hand over the right hand. Gently find our way back to center. And then left hand out to the left. Stacking our right hand over our left hand now. Enjoying a little stretch down the right side of our body. All right, let's come back to neutral child's pose. Thank your body for everything it just did. and everything it has done, whether that's over the weekend, past week, month, year, whatever. All right, let's breathe in deeply through the nose. And as you breathe out, come forward and rotate onto your back. Ugh. For corpse pose. Okay. Arms are at your sides. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable. Do a body scan and see how you feel from the beginning of the session to now. We'll go for 90 seconds. I won't say anything, but continue to lie there and breathe and see how you're feeling. Keep your eyes closed. Reach your arms overhead. Point the toes at the bottom. And give yourself a morning stretch, whatever that may mean to you. Ugh. Groaning deeply and audibly. Ugh. Maybe just wriggling side to side. Arching your back. Ugh. All right. Let's roll onto your side and rest your head and face on your hands. And we're all going to take a moment for ourselves. Whichever arm is on top, plant that palm on the floor on the mat. Push yourself up. Ugh. Let's return. Oh, cross leg position. Ugh. All right. My favorite part, 3 audible breaths. Or the 3 ohms. All right. So lengthen the spine. Plug the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And let's breathe into the nose and breathe out with some sound. Number 2, let's breathe into the nose and breathe out with some sound. Right, last one. Let's breathe into the nose and breathe out with some sound. Bring your hands to heart center. You may repeat after me if you wish. May you have clear and kind intention. Let's bring our hands to our foreheads. May you have clear and kind thoughts. Let's bring our hands to our lips. May you have clear and kind communication. And then returning our hands to our hearts.